University's Graduate School of Political Management and a political columnist for the congressional newspaper, The Hill. You're very busy, Cheri. The question has got to be, what do you make of this pressure for either Rick Santorum or Michelle Bachmann to quit?
First of all, it's a good day for Rick Santorum that he finally has some of the other candidates taking off after him because that shows that you're doing well. So I'm sure he is not taking any offense to the criticism coming from Rick Perry and some of the others. With regard to these pastors allegedly working behind the scenes to try and get Rick Santorum or Michelle Bachmann to drop out of the race, I think many voters, evangelical voters even, might think that is unseemly because they're not doing it for moral or ethical reasons as spiritual leaders. This is pure politics. If they couldn't ask Herman Cain to drop out, why would they be asking, for one thing, Michelle Bachmann, for example, who won the Iowa straw poll? I just don't think it's a reasonable expectation that she would drop out, nor is it reasonable that Rick Santorum would, especially now, of course, given his surge, but also have the time that he spent in the state and how hard he's been working in 99 counties. So this could really backfire.
What do you make of that surge, Cheri? I'm curious about that surge. Just quickly before we move on, what do you think about the Santorum surge? Because it really is surprising a lot of political insiders today.
Yeah, it's about time it came to him, is what a lot of people are saying. But he has worked for it. But look, he's worked for it. He's been consistent, and he certainly hasn't gotten the attention that he's wanted. But if this surge continues, and if he does well, obviously on Tuesday, it'll happen organically, not because some religious leaders or alleged religious leaders are urging him or someone else or urging Bachmann to drop out and hand it to him. It'll be his own. Now he'll have a harder time coming out of Iowa if he does well and if he wins. Obviously in a place like New Hampshire, which is much more moderate, where Romney is going to do well. So it becomes an electability issue, especially now that we've seen the new Rasmussen poll that has Obama behind Romney, 45-39, when usually that's an Obama number with a generic Republican. Now there's a name attached to it. So it's getting interesting in that regard.
This whole Ron Paul phenomenon, I mean, Ron Paul is kind of falling back a little bit. Newt Gingrich has really slowed down here. I mean, the whole dynamic 5 days before, and it could change again, Cheri.
It could change again. You'll see them going positive in the last couple of days, though. Obviously, they want to end on a high note. So we're going to see some attacks now for a while. That'll wind down in the next couple of days, I suspect. But Ron Paul, and this is just my own observation, if you'll let me kind of go on this random observation here. You notice the Republican candidates in Iowa are all pretty unified in their criticism of Ron Paul. They don't seem uncomfortable with it, where at first they might have seemed uncomfortable taking shots at each other. They're pretty unified in their opposition against Ron Paul, and I think that's pretty interesting, and that says something.
So your pick on Tuesday night? I mean, Romney has been really the unspoken outsider here, but it looks like he could take this thing.
Well, I don't want to call it my pick. I can give a prediction. I'm going to say at this point, again, it can change. I'm going to say Romney, and maybe, yeah, I think probably Ron Paul might hang in second place, but I think Santorum is going to come in. Maybe a surprising third, which basically puts him at second, because I don't think anybody's going to take the Ron Paul, how he places in Iowa seriously, because he's really that far out of the mainstream of Republican politics.
And Rick Santorum said that third place would be a victory for him. Cheri Jacobus, Cheri, thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, remember, Shep will be live in Iowa for the caucuses next week, beginning Monday. Complete coverage from Des Moines for the first presidential